Hi everyone, Intuitive Kathleen Miller here, and this is the October 2025 Intuitive Energy Forecast. We are on the final day of September today, and what an incredible month. Really wild. And as I said before, last month was the fire ether, really fast, kind of, blazing disclosure, continued openings, and fast moving change, which of course is going to be ongoing. But as we move into October 2025, luckily we are shifting out of such fast motion into a different dynamic this month that I'm very excited for. So the elements that were really coming forward are more air and water. So air is still can be very fast moving as well. And it's not that we don't have ongoing continued global change. I mean, that's going to be ongoing for all of us. But the first focal point is this higher divine discernment. And this is around this internal connection, because remember, the highest intelligence is us being connected to the divine, connected to the earth, and in our own internal divine higher self knowing. Okay, this is part of the unified mind that we are returning to, but this clarity from within. The answers are all within us, the information, the energies, all of this new earth form is birthing from within to without. And this really, what we're seeing in the outer world, of course, is this explosion of AI. And the discernment there is really the ever increasing discernment around benevolent versus controlled artificial intelligence. I mean, in and of itself, it's artificial intelligence. Therefore, it is not of the divine. It is of a programmed information. And now the real clarity of discernment is, one, is this truly relevant to us? And two, how do we not lose our inner connection of knowing and put that first and foremost, and allow benevolent divine intelligence, the DI, to still create computer forms of support for us. I'm not against all technology, but it's really clarifying where it is assisting the higher good, where it's really without a dark agenda, and where it's truly, supporting the whole, the unified consciousness, where artificial intelligence can be a means to control, a means to, pose as omnipresence, when it's actually, again, a programmed intelligence that has, in the wrong hands or manipulated, can be taking people off track, can be really creating limitation, creating dystopia. So this is really more and more important than ever. Certainly with some of the things I've been coming across are the way it's being manipulated to look like other people, to duplicate the voice technology. So again, being really clear. And as we are raising our core intelligence to increase the inner heart flow of, really that demanding divine justice, as I was saying before, I just did a podcast on it this last week too. This is very important, because as we are the ones that, as we are connected and flowing from that higher divine intelligence first, and allowing technology to support us with that, then the technologies will be, non-evasive, will be really clean and clear and supportive to be creating greater. That's really, and having the discernment. So October is about the initial really clear discernment of where you participate with this, what channels are important, what apps and different things that are out there that are already really, out of bounds with what they're doing with information, what they're doing with data, and how do we begin to clarify. And just like all of these changes, and I talked about this on the podcast, with, people canceling subscriptions, not being part of unconscious companies anymore, really moving into this demand for high integrity, everything. And as we do that, as we stay connected and in that open heart, this helps that discernment to be easier and easier of what we may, rewire or upgrade, or how we change. And as we keep doing that, we have nothing to worry about. We will stay. What isn't working as these energies go higher is going to collapse anyways. So as we stay and continually upgrade to this benevolent realm, it can be a seamless transition into greater. So that's super, super important. Some really interesting things about this will come out through commerce, through just global changes that are continuous. And then number 2 is, really prioritizing your upgrade action items. Okay. As I say this, and I know we are at a time where between media, our lives changing, keeping up with it all, so many people are so overwhelmed, but it still is quite crucial to come back into, this, what items do we need to be clarifying in the month of October to be staying course with your own personal transition higher. Okay. And what that means is, again, and I know I say this a lot in different ways each month, but it is this internal core microcosm thread of all of this is how we are living our conscious lifestyle, our intuitive lifestyle, creating success. Are we listening to our bodies with dietary changes, with our activity, sleep level, where we're putting our focus, what we're choosing, where are we putting our dollars, where is conscious spending, where is conscious creation, and how do we stay happy in that? How do we stay in a high resonance of enjoyment and gratitude with that? Because as we're in the reinforcing the priorities of our personal peace, our personal stability, while we're also releasing those lower level attachments. Something that's really come up for me the last few weeks is this really a whole nother level of releasing the third dimension, because it is dissolving more and more. So this lower level, things that we're addicted to in third dimension, the drama, the whatever chaos that can feel very normal, can feel very, we have identity points to saving it, to fixing it, to playing with it. And as we're releasing this more, okay, and that's something you've got to kind of take in and personally evaluate for you where this is. This really can be part of, in October, because of air and water. Now, air is new information, new choices, and new expression. So it's very throat chakra. But the water is sacral. So this is very much our relationships. This is new things we're going to participate with, new relationships. And this kind of goes into point number 3, which is these new timeline collaborations. So now that we are adequately cleaned up with releasing our what a lot of what our personal charts, our soul charts are here to kind of clean up with family, with ancestry, with all kinds of patterns. Now we're really clearing the field to step into the true soul community, conscious community, soul partnerships, these really divinely aligned counterpart pieces that October is very, very conducive to bringing those in. So this is, new relating in new ways that we maybe have never experienced in this lifetime. This can be new dynamics of cooperative collaboration too. And this really dovetails into the changes. And even with kind of AI and the new earth forms that are coming in, these are, all of the supports of how do we then communicate that? How do we then share this with others? And what are the cooperative partnerships that are not only the light leaders really coming into new roles, but for some of us, this is going to be, real clarity on kind of next steps with more clusters and more of those soul groups to be creating the forms, to helping the new structures, and just the overall transition for the collective into this next higher rung as we start to move into 2026. And so it's a very exciting month. It's also going to be quite an emotional month. So there's a lot of, so everything that's unresolved in relationships, everything that we're resistance to receiving, can be coming up as well. So this may bring up some unresolved emotion. This can bring up some below the surface things that are quite a bit deeper. So we've got to have that personal time to listen. Certainly the body's going to be showing you by what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. But as we kind of gently flow, air and water are way more gentle, like, it's night and day from last month. And so this is, more, the environment that we're in is more important to keep calm and peaceful. So really that might be an action item to prioritize. Who do I let into the space? Who do I need to kind of get out of the space? What do I need to kind of arrange differently so either your body's more supported or your emotional experience is more supported in that? So those are really the highlights for October. Very exciting month. Obviously, we have full moon next week. We have a lot of different still ongoing astrological supports for this. But really, the biggest thing is, as we come in as we prioritize staying connected, and we continuously are building on all of the emotional intelligence, the mastery of the last few years, we're really, as we move to the end of the year and certainly to the winter solstice, it's really all shoring up into, okay, this is what we've been preparing for. And these next flows of light coming into early next year. So much of the hindsight that was challenging, that didn't really make sense, is going to come in and really click into place with, oh, that's why the timing of that was that way. That's why, these pieces didn't come in just yet. So, and we don't have to run out ahead. We don't have to worry about it. I'm always, very much, what's next? And a lot of times it's no. It's stay so present here, stay in as much joy and gratitude and presence as we can, while we are really asking and inviting higher light to come in. As we are doing that, and as we are then choosing within the day, within our time, within our what we have right now, we are contributing not just for ourselves, but the biggest around the globe and beyond. We are contributing to multiversal stabilization for us moving into this extraordinary time on the planet, extraordinary time of history. And so keep the faith, stay in joy as much as you can, and stay grounded. Otherwise, I really wish you all the best. And if you feel like, oh my gosh, I need more support, this is a bit intense, you can always do a private session with me. I'm available virtually around the globe. And that's at intuitivelifestylesuccess.com. You can also find my podcast on most podcast platforms. And that's also Intuitive Lifestyle Success Podcast with Kathleen Miller, and it's Kathleen with a C. So I hope this has been helpful. Have a wonderful month and a happy fall, guys. I'll talk to you soon.